Hello, everybody, and welcome to Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Joshua.
I am Nibras.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. As per usual, guys, welcome to Youth Connect. For anybody that is new, Youth Connect is a news and entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. We are all youth broadcasters who have our own podcasts, make music, and want to go into acting and broadcasting work. It's a show that I know that you are going to love. You already met my other co-hosts, Kevin, Joshua, Nibras, and Jeffrey. But first up is myself, and we are starting off with gaming news. As per usual, we always have to start off with our Spotlight Game of the Week. What is a Spotlight Game of the Week? Well, basically, it's a game that I want to shine the light on and I want you to check out. And today's game is actually a huge fan favorite that's actually coming out today. So today's Game of the Week is Elden Ring. Let me tell you a little story about Elden Ring. The Golden Order has been broken. Rise, tarnished, and be guided by grace to brandish the power of the Elden Ring, to become an Elden Lord in the lands between. In the lands between, ruled by Queen Marika, the Eternal, the Elden Ring is the source of the Erd Tree, but guess what? It has been shattered. Marika's offspring, demigods and all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring known as the Great Runes. And the mad taint of their newfound power and strength triggered a war, the Shattering. A war that was meant abandonment by the greater will. And now the guidance of grace will be brought to the tarnished, who were spurned by the grace of gold and exiled from the lands between. Ye dead who yet live, your grace long lost. Follow the path of the lands between the foggy sea to stand before the Elden Ring. Now, this game has been in development for so many years and actually had to be backlogged another 2 years till it was fully released. Fans, as we speak, are playing this game. They say that it is the sequel to Dark Souls, but a little bit easier. It's a multiplayer 8-player game and apparently is absolutely amazing, and I hope that you guys check it out because it is on PS4, PS5, and also PC, just to name a few. Anyways, though, that's my first gaming news, and next up we always have to do Kevin with his all-important local news.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for choosing to spend your Friday afternoon with us. You are tuned into Youth Connect and the news with me, Kevin Aruja. Today was Let's look at the headlines. Ontario state of emergency lifted after convoy protest end. Canada brings in stronger sanctions after Russia strikes Ukraine. Brampton mayor says province should consider lifting mask mandate in schools. An extreme cold weather alert is in effect for Toronto. The state of emergency in Ontario invoked to respond to the convoy protest and border crossing blockades has ended. The provincial government announced that the declaration was terminated at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. This was in alignment with the federal government, which announced Wednesday afternoon that it is revoking the use of the Federal Emergency Act. Under the emergency orders blocking and stopping the movement of goods, services, and people along international border crossings, highways, airports, bridges, railways, and ports, doesn't comply could face a and up to a year imprisonment, and commercial licenses taken away by. Shock and horror turned to anger on Thursday as Canada and his allies responded to Russia's unprecedented invasion of Ukraine with a barrage of new sanctions targeting the Russian economy and his leaders that would hope at all of war. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced Canada's response to Russia's invasion in an early afternoon news conference in Ottawa, hours after the first Russian missiles began to rain down on cities across Ukraine and troops started to cross the border. The Prime Minister accused Putin of sparking the greatest threat to European stability since the Second World War, and said the invasion of Ukraine will represent an attack on democracy, international law, human rights, and freedom. Defense Minister Anita Anand says 3,400 Canadian Armed Forces members are being put on the standby in case they need to deploy in a hurry. Those forces are on top of 460 additional troops promised to NATO operations in Europe earlier this week. Meanwhile, Trudeau announced Canada has arranged for the safe passage of any Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and their families still in Ukraine through land borders with Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Moldova. Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown says that the Ontario government should strongly consider following Quebec's lead and lifting the mask mandate for elementary and secondary school students amid improving public health indicators. Quebec announced on Tuesday that it would no longer require the school-age children to wear masks in classrooms as of March 7th, though they will continue to be required in common areas and on school buses. The announcement comes on the heels of officials in Alberta lifting the mask mandates for school earlier this month. Alberta has also exempt children under the age of 13 from its mask policy in all other settings. Currently, all students in grade 1 to grade 12 in Ontario are required to wear a mask at school as part of a series of measures intended to reduce the spread of COVID-19. The provincial policy does not extend to students in kindergarten, however. Most boards in the GTA have independently decided to mandate masks for students in those grades as well. And on the sports news, the Major League Baseball said only 5 days remain to salvage March 31st openers and the full season, telling locked-out players that games would be canceled if a labor contract is not agreed to by the end of Monday. After the third straight days of negotiations with little movement, MLB went public what had told the union on February 12th. A deadline is a deadline. Missed games are missed games. Salary would not be paid for those games, an MLB spokesman said. Players have not accepted Monday as a deadline and have suggested any missed games could be made up as part of a double headers, a method MLB said it will not agree to. Teams have told the union they will not decrease revenue sharing and will not add new methods for players to accrue served time, which the union said needed to prevent teams from holding players back to delay free agency. And on the weather news, an extreme cold weather alert is in effect for Toronto as frigid temperatures are set to continue on Friday. Extreme cold weather alert has been issued in anticipation of cold weather conditions forecast in the next 24 hours. The temperature is set to dip overnight to -20 with wind chill and rise to a high of 1 degree Celsius by Saturday afternoon. Motorists should expect hazardous winter driving conditions and adjust travel plans accordingly. And now, in our interesting fact of the week, we will speak of the Harlem Globetrotters. I know it might be different than Super Bowl, but it is. So let's get into the story. The Harlem Globetrotters is an American exhibition basketball team. Take about athleticism, theater, and comedy in their style of play. The team is currently owned by Hershand Family Entertainment. The Globetrotters represents 90 plus years of breaking down barriers, acts of goodwill, and a commitment to fans that goes beyond the game. Abe Sipperstein founded the team in 1926, and they played their first road game in Hickley, Illinois on January 7, 1927. Since then, the Globetrotters have entertained more than 148 million fans in 123 countries and territories worldwide, introducing many to the sport of basketball. The team are pioneers in popularizing the slam dunk, the fast break, the forward and the point guard positions, and the figure eight weave. In 2010, the Globetrotters also introduced the first ever 4-point shot, a shot located 30 feet from the basket and almost 7 feet beyond the NBA's three-point arc. And today, the Globetrotters continue to bring their entertainment to millions of fans around the world, with more than 400 live events each year. Interesting Globetrotters game features some of the best athletes on the planet. Unmatched fan interaction, incredible ball handling wizardly, rim rattling dunks, and side splitting comedy. In all, close to 750 women and men and women have played for the world famous team, a team which has entertained popes, kings, queens, and presidents around the globe. Off the court, the organization continues to evolve the company beyond its vibrant live event businesses by increasing alliance with global partners, developing a full line of licensed product, executing a multimedia strategy to gain worldwide relevancy, and continuing the brand's legacy of deep social involvement in local communities. They will be playing in Toronto and Hamilton during the first week of March. Tickets are available on Ticketmaster. When I come to the end of my segment, this is Kevin Aruja signing off, and now I'm going to switch back to Aiden's for some gaming and board gaming news.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm just going to say, guys, for everyone that's watching, I hope, I am going to be sending positive messages for hope, safety, and protection of the Ukrainian people. And I hope that in the end, at least a small minimum are hurt. But I really want that number to be low. Thank you so much, Kevin. On to our second gaming news. We have something quite peculiar. So when one YouTuber happened upon the much sought after Hot Wheels Patriot PC, I knew it was only a matter of time before it was gutted and filled with the top of the line modern PC components. Now, let me just say this. For anybody that doesn't know the non-computer stuff, or that are not in the loop of the computer aspect of things, let me fill you in on some details. For some time, from the late 1990s until the early 2000s, a startup company named Patriots PCs manufactured a line of Hot Wheels branded Windows personal computers. Now, these Windows 98 and 2000 operated computers were pretty good for its time, and all the looks to make a young boy dream of having one. And I must say, they look absolutely outstanding. For computer-wise, these computers were the rarest ever, only producing around 2,000 or so. So when somebody, a YouTuber by the name of Shank Mods, managed to find a Hot Wheels PC tower in decent shape, it inspired him to track down all of its original accessories, including a trio of CRTs. But instead of restoring the PC to its original form, he decided to perform a miraculous upgrade and turn it into a modern gaming beast. So if you guys, like I said before, this is a huge thing for computer geeks because I must say, there were only 1,000 produced. So that means that he found one. And you know what he did? He made it into this system that could run GTA 5 at full graphics, could play entireties of Doom Eternal, but packaged inside this small little box. So guys, if you ask your parents what PCs used to be like, it used to be like this weird, just square box of a PC. So imagine he shoved in an RTX fast, like a really fast computer system into that little tiny box. How did he do it? You're going to have to check it out. This is a great video. So again, his name is Shank Mods. He also made a portable Virtual Boy. And if you guys know, that was the sadly acclaimed video system that Nintendo thought would be taken to go, and it would take 3D in the trips in the car or things like that, but it ended quite miserably. So he created a Virtual Boy that was actually really good for taking on the go. Make sure again, Shake Mods, really good guy. Anyways, though, next up is Joshua, and Joshua has with us some good story news and, of course, animal news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Youth Connect. Now for a good news story. A homemade bumper sticker saved a stranger's life. When you're headed down a dark road and feeling hopeless, sometimes all it takes to get you headed back in the right direction is a little sign, or in this case, a bumper sticker. Like many of Like many who have felt the mental health impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, 22-year-old university student Brooke Lacey had her own share of issues. After Lacey won her battle against depression in the hope of helping others, the New Zealand native was inspired to create a batch of 600 signs that read, "Please don't take your life today. The world is so much better with you in it, more than you realize. Stay." Lacey hung laminated versions of the message on bridges and overpasses and next to railroads and waterways around the capital city of Wellington in New Zealand. She even had the saying inscribed on the bumper sticker, but the sentiment was the farthest thing from her mind. But she found a very unusual note on the windshield of the car. She had parked in the university lot, a handwritten, figuring she was in for a scolded over poor parking technique. Lacey was instead surprised to find a handwritten note under the wiper blade that thanked her for saving the rider's life. The note said, "Your sign saved my life today. I left my house with a plan and asked for a sign and anyone I was doing the right thing when I saw your car in the parking lot. Thank you," as reported by the Daily Mail Australia publication. It took a moment It took a moment for Lacey's mind to circle back around to the bumper sticker. "I had these made so long ago. I put one on my car and forgot about them until now," she tweeted. "I'm so glad whoever you are that you choose to stay today. You never know who needs this reminder. It's something we should all bear in mind. While the universe may be a random place for someone in trouble, even the smallest mindful act of kindness can turn out to the light the light at the end of the tunnel. As long as the message is sincere, even something as simple as a sign or a bumper sticker can save a life." You are so inspiring, Brooke. Now turning to animal interest news. Iceland to hang up harpoons for good. Whales off the coast of Iceland will be left alone by the end of next year, after the nation's fisheries minister announced a cancellation of all new permits for commercial whalings. The country had already banned international whaling crews in their waters, but now, once the current permit expires in 2023, the practice will end for good. Still, only one whale was hunted last year, as there is still little economic demand for it in Iceland, the land of fire and ice. For 10 years, the International Fund for Animal Welfare had been campaigning to persuade leaders, Ice, Icelanders, that whales are worth more alive than dead. New studies find that whales would generate more tourism from being seen on whale watching tours than from being eaten. And the campaign generated 175,000 signatures, the largest signature campaign in the nation's history. Media reports Media service reports that hundreds of thousands of whale watchers visited the northern European nation in 2019 to observe both the minke whales and the world's smallest baleen whale and fin whales, the world's second largest species. Whale sightings are bound to become more lively in the coming years now that average catches will drop to zero from around 83 whales caught yearly. Hooray for the whales. Now for a Now for both a good news and animal interest news. A genocide survivor, Wholesome Squirrel photo photos go viral. Nicky Coleman escaped to Belgium when he was just 4 years old with his 9-year-old sister before the Rwanda genocide broke out. His mother died 3 months after giving birth, and his father died in the war. Being an orphan, Nicky said it was difficult growing up in a country without knowing the language. He had no clue how to make friends, and he was always alone and scared to talk to someone. But his sister helped him to grow up, and eventually he found his power through nature photography. He picked up a camera. He picked up a camera in 2016 with no formal education and learned everything throughout trial and error. He has dedicated the last 6 years to photographing red squirrels. He shares his pictures in a recently released French language children's book and about how he connects with photographs the fluffy-tailed animals. I'm so blessed to say I'm so blessed to have the squirrels in my life to spend my free time with them, says Nikki. They gave me a lot of power and motivation to keep going. When he first saw a squirrel in someone's garden, he bought a squirrel feeder for his own yard. He waited for 2 months. Then the magic happened, and the squirrel learned how to open the feeder and access the treats inside. He spent about 5 hours a day observing his little squirrel friends. His goal was to get the squirrels into special poses without using Photoshop and thinking about things no one else had done before. He's only sold a few prints from his webpage, but in 2019, he achieved a significant career milestone by becoming a finalist in the National Geographic Photo Contest. A documentary about him on Facebook has tallied over 5 million views. Now, he has a lot of support from people who follow and appreciate his work. He hopes to inspire others to go out and enjoy nature since nature has so much to offer. Way to go, Nikki. This is Joshua Show reporting for you today. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
Thank you so much, Joshua. I absolutely love the news for Iceland. I hope that everyone around the world and all the countries consider banning the hunting of whales. That way we can make sure that we keep our natural aquatic ecosystem healthy and clean, and obviously keep it balanced. Anyways, for our last gaming news, we have to do our board game of the week, but not just our board game of the week. I thought we could do something called our upcoming board game of the week. What is the upcoming board game of the week? Well, basically, it's a board game that's going to be coming out or is in the Kickstarter format and needs some support or getting ready to play these amazing board games. And I have one to start it all off, and it's actually really good, and it's kind of supports the environment. And this game is called Earth. Now, if you guys know, Earth is the soil that supports and sustains our beautiful planet. Over thousands of years of evolution and adaptation, the flora and fauna of this unique planet has grown and developed into amazing life forms, creating symbiotic ecosystems and habitats. It's time to jump into these rich environments and create some amazing natural synergies that replicate and explorate on Earth's amazing natural resources. Create a self-supporting engine of growth, expansion, and supply where even your unused plants become compost for future growth. Earth is an open world engine builder board game for players up to 1 to 5 with simple rules but tons of strategic possibilities. With its encyclopedic nature and the enormous number of unique cards and combinations, every single game will allow you to discover new synergies and connections, just as vast and fascinating as our world allows us to do. It's a game that really supports nature and really gives a spin on a game that would seem rather boring. It's sort of like a science class mixed with a board game. It's interesting. There's tons of new things in this game. It's still in Kickstarter, and it actually has 11 days till it's ready to release to the public. So if you guys want to check out Earth, the board game, I recommend that you check it out because it is a really good game that teaches you a little bit about the world that you probably didn't know about. Anyways, though, next up we have Nibras, and Nibras has with us some entertainment and podcast news.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys today? My name is Nibras Khan, and I'm your for the entertainment news. Let's get straight in our top story. And our top story is about Uncharted. Uncharted movie opened in the US on February 18 following its release in the UK and other parts of the world earlier in the month. And the Tom Holland Mark Wahlberg action film has now made more than $140 million worldwide. After outperforming expectations this past weekend, the movie has now made $51 million in the US and $88 million internationally for a global total of $140 million. Success at that level was enough to give Sony Pictures CEO Tom Rothman the confidence to say that Uncharted is now a franchise. For the film company going forward. As such, viewers should probably expect a sequel. Though the company has yet to flat out confirm this, Uncharted cost 120 million to produce, and that doesn't count the marketing expenses. But Rotman said in an email to staff that Uncharted is a new hit movie franchise for the company. The executive also mentioned how Uncharted has a very, very positive 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. This marks a great victory for every single division of the company, as the film was our first major production entirely shut down by the advent of COVID. Yet, we persevered to complete a picture that the audience loves and marketed and distributed with the strategic verve worldwide. Despite the pandemic, Rotman said of Uncharted, Rotman also said the success of Uncharted speaks to the um, unmatched cultural power of your movies. On the heels of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and Spider-Man No Way Home, Uncharted is yet another blow to the theatrical Nate series that further proof of the efficiency of our model, the executive said. As for an Uncharted sequel, director Ruben Fleischer has already said he wants to return to make another movie and has expressed his desire to put Uncharted 4's car chase scene in it. Fletcher and Holland are also keen to make a Jack and Dexter movie for PlayStation Productions. The movie's success is also bringing up renewed talk about the future of the Uncharted game series. Uncharted Legacy of the Thieves Collection released in January, bundling Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy on PS5. But no brand new entries in the main series have been announced. Also, this is great news. As we all expected, the Uncharted did do good, and this is just the second weekend, right? Maybe it can go more than 150 million. Who knows? Even 160 million, like it's just a second weekend. And if you have seen the movie, just comment down below how it is, what did you like about it, and etc. And now to my second story. Before I go to my second story, I'd like to give you guys the fact of the day. And today's fact of the day is, drumroll please. Did you guys know the Four Corners Monument? The Four Corners Monument is the only spot in the US where you can stand in 4 states at once. Yes, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. There's a place in Arizona where you can go, and it's a monument. You can stand on it, and you will be standing in 4 states at once. Imagine 4 states at once: Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. Isn't it awesome, guys? Just standing in 4 states in once. Imagine standing in 4 provinces at once. Isn't that awesome? It's just awesome. I love this fact. Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah. So my second story is about a podcast. So this podcast name is Switched on Pop. Switched on Pop. This is a podcast about music. More specifically, this is a podcast that dissects how a song is made and why it gets stuck in our heads. So it solves the question: why is a song that good? Why do we love some music and we don't like some music? So this every episode is worth a listen. But if you're looking for something specific, for example, why do we love Prince so much? You can search for a certain artist, theme, or music genre on the Switched on Pop website. You're guaranteed to land something interesting. So I love podcasts, and I also love this podcast. But sometimes I want the extent, right? Some other resources. So they give us some other resources. You can go to the website of Switched on Pop, and you can write a specific question, and it will give you why it's so good. It's just awesome. It's a great educational podcast, and it's a music podcast, right? Who doesn't love music, right? It's a great podcast. And that's all from me. As always, this is Nibras Khan from Youth Connect. I'll see you all next week. Thank you. Take care. TGI. Back to Aiden. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nibras. I actually really did enjoy the Uncharted movie. I feel like it might have done a little bit better if it was geared towards an older audience, because I really felt that it was meant for a younger audience. But other than that, it was a really good movie adaptation to a video game. Anyways, guys, we have to do the last bit of our Youth Connect, the cherry on top. And we always have to end off with Jeffrey's live music.
Hi, everybody out there. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's time for some live music, and I'm going to be playing Twist and Shout by the Beatles. Oh, shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout, twist and shout. Come on now, baby, now. Come on, baby. I work it all out. Work it all out. You know you look so good. So good. You know you look so fine. So fine. You know you got me going. Me going. Like I know you're mine. Like I know you're mine. Oh, shake it up, baby. Now. Shake it up. Twist and shout. Twist and shout. Come on now, baby. Come on, baby. Come on and work it on out. Work it on now. Work it on now. Work it on now. You know you look so good. You know you taste so fine. Taste so fine. You all got me going. Me going just like I knew you might. Like I knew you might. Shake it up, baby. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout. Twist and shout. Come on now, baby. I'll work it all out. Work it all out. You know you look so good. Look so good. You know you got me going. Got me going. Just like I knew you would. Like I knew you would. Shake it up, baby. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout. Twist and shout. Come on now, baby. Come on, baby. Come on and work it on out. Work it on out. You know you look so good. Look so good. You know you got me going. Got me going. Just like I knew you would. Like I knew you would. Shout, come on now, baby. Come on, baby. Come on and work it all out. Work it all out. You know you look so good. Look so good. You know you twist so fine. So fine. Come on, just little prisoner. Just little prisoner. Getting all of your mind. Well, shake it, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Oh, shake it, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Oh, shake it, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Thank you, everybody, so much. This is Jeffrey from Youth Connect signing off. It's back to you, Aiden.
Oh my gosh, Jeffrey. I was twisting and shouting with you with the entire song. Absolutely amazing. And that was Jeffrey with his live music. And that reaches the end of our Youth Connect. I hope that you really enjoyed the show. You know what? It's really hard to coordinate a live stream, but it takes an amazing team to do it. And trust you me, we have an amazing team. So if you like Youth Connect, and you want to support us, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
And also, guys, check out our Instagram page at Youth Connect Live for news and more updates.
Whoa, we have an Instagram now. Make sure to
Yes,
check
you
it
do.
out, guys. Other than that, we will see you all next week. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.